All right. Well, look, it's a great way to end session today. I felt like we accomplished what we came when we started, which was to make progress on affordability, and we did that in House Bill 1001 and 1002 around housing and utility costs, and then in House Bill 1003 and 1004 streamlining government. So, we came in and we had a ton of other bills. We're obviously super excited about the transformational opportunity in Northwest Indiana, and so many things that we were able to accomplish over the last 8 weeks. And so it was a great way to end session. Appreciate the tremendous efforts of all of our members and the bipartisan support on so many bills. So with that, happy to take questions.
In Senate Bill 27, the Bears football stadium, also there's language there that would basically say any transportation project over $250 million has to go to the state budget committee. Do you think the lawmakers were trying to send a message to the governor because the Mid-States project would fall under that category?
No, because I think if you go back and you look at some of the economic development language we've had in the past, they had budget committee review for large purchases. And I think the idea was just, we knew we were going to have to make a big infrastructure investment in Lake County. We wanted to make sure the legislature had eyes on it, and that was the intent of that provision.
What would you say is your biggest legislative win of the 2026 session?
Well, I think we went straight to affordability. We wanted to make sure we made progress on the housing. We appreciate all the support of all the stakeholders, including our local government partners in that. I think driving down, as we work towards driving down utility costs. So I think all those were huge issues for us.
You passed two different bills dealing with childcare. You had access to the Frog Fund and then the expansion of the employer childcare tax credits. Does that solve the problem?
Well, look, we've talked about before. It's a big, comprehensive problem and one that we're working to resolve. First issue, as I've noted before, is to make sure that there are more options available for families, and that's what we're trying to do. Is we've tried to deregulate that space, but also to provide get employers invested in this. Ultimately, they're the ones who see the benefits of a strong child care system because it's their employees that are using it. So we felt like that was an important issue, and we'll come back again next year and make even more progress.
In terms of the impact of Haley Busby's death,
your chamber, what were the issues with that?
We could not get to consensus on that. We had people that felt strongly that it just needed to be banned and not regulated, and we just couldn't find a consensus on that, and a little bit disappointing. But that's part of being a part of an institution where you have a lot of different thoughts and ideas.
What's your take on Busby? What's your personal take? Do you think it should be banned? Do you think it should be regulated?
I would have supported Senate Bill 250, and that was my opinion. But we had strong caucus opinions otherwise, and we just could never really get to a consensus.
What was the language dealing with people 20 and under not being able to get access to that? What was the sticking point there?
We passed that. I think there was just some concerns that felt. I don't want to speak for the Senate. I think there were just some concerns that they felt like that was like creating a regulatory structure they weren't very comfortable with.
Haley Busby's father released a statement regarding House Bill 1408 passing. He thanked the General Assembly for considering this issue. What is your take on those social media restrictions passing this session?
Well, look, I think it was a great start. I think a lot of us are concerned about the amount of time. It's not just screen time. It's what's taking place in that screen time with these social media algorithms and what they're doing to our kids and particularly their cognitive abilities. So I think that is a great piece of legislation. I appreciate is a huge team effort. Representative Boehne, Representative King, so many other reps who were actively involved in that, Dr. Jenner. So I think it's a great piece of legislation, and I think it's something we also have to do, spend a lot of time making sure parents aren't just aware. It's not just about screen time, it's what their kids are looking at and doing.
Are you concerned about some legal challenges to some of that language? I know Senator Rotz talked about that today.
I don't know what there could potentially be, but we'll see.
Mr. Speaker, was there some perceived inconsistency? On the one hand, obviously want to crack down on inappropriate material getting in front of kids with social media, but at the same time, lawmakers gave tax breaks to data centers where a lot of that information is going to be stored.
Well, what we did in the data center realm was make sure that they share some of their utility sales tax exemption with with local communities. We didn't do anything else in that regard.
A medical debt relief bill passed out of the Senate with bipartisan support. It had a lot of support from the public as well. What went wrong in the House?
Well, I think we addressed it in a different way, in a different bill. Appreciate the leadership of Dr. Baird on that, to find Representative McGuire to find a solution. It's a complicated issue because you want to find the right mix of dealing with the debt, and yet not creating bad incentives. And I thought they did a really good job.
Some places like the American Cancer Society, though, have said it doesn't go far enough. What would you say to those folks?
I would say we'll meet again next year, but I would take the progress we had.
There were a number of immigration reform bills that passed this session: Senate Bill 76, House Bill 1200. What was your take on immigration reform?
Well, again, I think we were just making sure there was alignment in the federal and the state laws, and it's an issue where we want to make sure we're enforcing the laws. I think all those bills did that.
There were a number of the casino conversation ended up, both in terms of the location and in terms of the application fee and the required investment.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Regarding the casino, are you happy with where that ended up regarding the fee and the location?
Yeah, those are a lot of conversations. Those are very parochial issues, and I felt like again, bipartisan efforts. Appreciate the leadership of Representative Snow and Leader Giaquina and all the caucuses trying to come together to find the right solution. It looks like they got to a good spot.
Senate Bill 256, the Foreign Adversaries Bill, it prevents foreign students from enrolling in certain degree programs. There's a concern, analysts raise that it might reduce enrollment to the point where, it would hurt tuition of state institutions, and suggested that could be offset by raising tuition. I know holding tuition flat has been a big priority for you guys. Are you concerned about that?
To be honest with you, no one from higher ed expressed those concerns to me, so I've not heard that. I've heard that there was collaboration and cooperation with the our higher ed partners on Senate Bill 256, but none of them ever expressed that concern to me.
Can you talk more about what the state's goal is regarding higher education? There was a number of things passed this year, last year, that kind of changes degree programs. They want to look at higher ed accreditation now. Yeah. What's the motivation behind all of this?
I don't think this is a conversation just in Indiana, but nationally. I think we want to see higher ed evolve to the 21st century and the economy, and we want to make sure that when kids are going to college and they're getting the types of jobs they're spending significant sums of money that they're getting in degrees and programs are going to be a good ROI, so that's certainly a part of it. And we also need higher ed to really be more cost conscious, more cost sensitive, and I think we've got great public higher ed partners here in the state, and they've been responding well to this, and we're grateful and thankful for that. And I think Dr. Jenner's done a great job of bringing them along and supportive on all these pieces of legislation.
Homelessness done that you wish you would have gotten done, or something that wasn't addressed that you wished would have been?
Oh, I think, you always have those things that you'd like to get across the finish line. But, no, I was really, really, really pleased. I mean, things came together in the last couple of weeks like they always do. I appreciate the partnership we have with the governor's office and the Senate, and that makes it a lot better and a lot funner to get these things done.
The bill on homelessness still has a little ways to go before they adjourn. How concerned are you that they may come up with a better deal? Is that...
The who? The
Illinois General.
Look, I can't control Illinois. I can say we've had a great partnership with the Bears. They have been fantastic to work with. I think they've appreciated in the way we work and the process in which we do things. Ultimately, I feel very good about what's going to happen, but there's some things that just need to get worked on. But we'll see what Illinois does. I'm not worried about that. I know what Indiana did, and I know what Indiana did, and I know what Indiana does well, and I am confident that that's going to be enough to put the Bears in Lake County and Hammond, Indiana.
So what are you doing Monday?
How did the Haley Busby case impact the conversation surrounding social media in this building? Because that's been going on for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think that case certainly in a terrible situation, and very powerful testimony by her father, Bo, but I also say I think it had a huge impact on how we changed the alert system. So unfortunately, a terrible situation, but we were able to address a couple of things that were part of that very sad story.
Regarding the Bears project, if it comes to fruition, is that land acquisition piece of that going to be possible without buying up residential homes in the area?
I think we feel very good about that.
What would you say to Hoosiers who are concerned about how this stadium will be funded? The Bears have already agreed to $2 billion commitment, but what would you say regarding Hoosiers who still have questions about?
Sure, and I would just remind them this is the same funding method that we used for the Lucas Oil Stadium, for Gamebridge Fieldhouse and other athletic properties in Indianapolis. It's really user pays. I mean, it's predominantly funded out of the dollars spent in those facilities. So that's, I think if you're a Hoosier, you're going, this is a great investment because the people are going to use it are going to pay, but for that facility, but all that economic development, all the things that take place around it is a benefit to not just that region of the state, but all of Indiana.
On the carbon bill, was there a particular reason why you went down to the Rules Committee? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was a process thing. Representative Pierce had some concerns about, whether it just come back straight to the floor. We kind of had precedent that said we'd done it both ways. I just wanted to make sure it got resolved and settled. The best way to do it is to take it to the Rules Committee, and that's what we did.
So what are you doing Monday?
Wait, I think Tom had a question, like a real one.
With the
I'm hurt.
with the Bear Stadium, how dependent is it if Porter County and Lake County don't go along with these taxes? Is the tax increases, does that put the jet?
Look, I've had great conversations with the folks up there. I thought the Ways and Means meeting was fantastic. We'll continue to talk to them. I'll probably be up that way soon to continue those conversations. And but I think they're excited to be partners. They recognize what this is going to do in Northwest Indiana, and also this is completely consistent with what we did here in Central Indiana. To support the CIB project. So I feel great about the conversations with the local officials up there. Have been nothing short of fabulous, and they've been tremendous partners.
Are they getting any? Sorry, go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
How involved did you see the governor during the session? He didn't really seem to be high profile on any issues like he was last session. After redistricting, how closely was he involved with you and the others?
The governor's office was, Senator Bray and I met with him every week. We talked, as active as they always are. And he always is. So, I think, he kind of laid out in the state of the state his priorities, like House Bill 1001 and other bills that we worked on this session, 1002 and Senate Bill 1. And, and he keeps track and makes sure things crosses the finish line.
Would you say that anything about the redistricting vote colored or changed anything about this legislative session this year?
Just that we got done in February, which I think is fabulous. So it was fabulous. Nope. I think it just kind of changed our calendar a little bit.
There were also some comments about the talk about affordability, utilities, that the work isn't done, you need to do more steps. What else do lawmakers now need to go on to do?
Well, look, I want to be fair on that. The affordability issue is a complex issue, and we can do things that try and create more housing inventory, which would help reduce. That's what we tried to do. We're doing in 1001 and in 1002, doing things to encourage, performance-based rate making. Those are very, very important things. I think the best thing we can do is create a heck of a lot of economic development, and that's what we're doing, and seeing growth, and that's going to be the things that are going to address the affordability issue.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.